Hey, greetings, everyone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West here, and welcome to the Steadfast and Loyal program.
You gotta light 'em up before they burn it down. Better dig deep, put 'em in the ground. Blood on their hands, they're hellbound. Save us all. Ooh, they're gonna burn it down. Save us all before they burn it down.
Hey, greetings, everyone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West here, and welcome to the Steadfast and Loyal podcast. You know, one of the critical issues we have going into this election is the Second Amendment, because as I have always said, an individual that is armed is a citizen, but an individual that is disarmed is a subject. And when you continue to hear people talking about, common sense, gun safety rules, regulations, or whatever, the most common sense right that you have is the Second Amendment, and it bolsters all your other amendments. So I thought it'd be great if we had a conversation with the Texas State Director for Gun Owners of America, and that is Leigh Gibson. Leigh Gibson is a dedicated advocate for the Second Amendment and a passionate patriot who relocated to Texas from California with her husband and two sons. Leigh is entering her second Texas legislative session with Gun Owners of America, where she continues to spearhead efforts to protect and expand the Second Amendment rights across the state. Leigh's professional background includes journalism, marketing, and event coordination, all of which contribute to her effective leadership in advancing Gun Owners of America's mission to safeguard the Second Amendment. Leigh, welcome to the Steadfast and Loyal podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You know, your story is an interesting story because it is, gun related, Second Amendment related, as to really why you finally made the decision. I got to get out of California. Share that with us.
We had been trying to leave the state of California. I'd grown up there. I was native there. I watched it during the 80s and 90s grow. Grew up in Silicon Valley, was proud to be from California. And then I had sons that were shooting competitive shotgun. And we had moved to the foothills of the Calaveras County, and where that, at the time, California had the second largest youth shooting organization to Arkansas.
Wow.
So those kids that were coming out of that program, we now see them as Olympians. So my sons were going through so much ammo back in 2018, 19, that, we were starting to look at where we could go, one, to afford to continue this, but two, there was under Newsom laws being written that would systematically destroy youth shooting. So while we were going through 1,000 rounds in a month, we would be allowed to buy 100 rounds for our son of shotgun shells. And Owen had been shooting since he was 10. So at this time he's probably about 14. And you get to a point where you see what these programs do for youth. You've made a commitment as a family. So we were in Kerrville, Texas. Both boys at the time were competing. And as it works, the Lord connected us with a friend who was selling their ranch.
Wow.
And in typical California fashion, like they say here in Texas, we ran home, sold everything, and moved back to Kerrville.
You know, it's interesting because you often hear the left saying that this is all about the, semi-automatic assault weapons. I don't understand what an assault weapon is. I could take this pen and, jab you with it and I will have assaulted you. But you're talking about just shotgun shooting, competitive shotgun shooting that they're trying to regulate and really eliminate. And this is affecting youth sports.
And I guarantee it is because this is a discipline. Most youth is exposed to shotguns, American trap, American skeet. The type of youth that come out of these programs, they are patriots. They know the Constitution. They are the yes ma'ams, the yes sirs. They are responsible. So if you give a child a trigger sport, not even a child, youth, a trigger sport, that requires responsibility, requires dedication. And this is just another assault on raising youth that are going to support American
with
values.
traditional values, understanding the Constitution. So you see that as an extension thereof. So you get here to Texas, down in Kerrville, which is a beautiful area down in the Texas Hill Country. How did you get engaged? How did you get involved? And what brought you to Gun Owners of America?
Well, so we left and I quickly came to Texas sounding the alarm. Very sad to leave California. Again, I grew up there. I was proud. Um, and I went to the Kerr County Republican office wanting to get involved. And this was the lead up to the 2020 election, so there was plenty of work to be done.
Mhm.
And as you know, I met some individuals that connected me into the political world, and that's where you and I met at a fundraiser. And then eventually meet Wes Friedel, who had been involved with Gun Owners of America and now has become candidate for House District 53. And
And he's pretty much so going to win that
yes,
election as the
yes,
Republican nominee. Yeah.
yeah. So Wes and I met, and we just kept having divine appointments. So I had always been a stay-at-home mother predominantly, but at about this time, my boys had both left home,
Yeah.
attended college, and I, really didn't know what I was going to do with myself. I knew I had these passions politically, advocate, put me in coach. And Wes called one day when he became the state director for Texas for
Mhm.
GOA, and he said, "Do you want a job?" I said, "Well, not really, but okay, what do you got? I'll try it."
Yeah.
But I want to be able to see my sons and do all these things. So Wes and I worked together for about 2 years, and then with Wes moving on, obviously, I was offered the position as the new state director.
You know what's the weird thing for the left? I'm sure they'll be watching this video, is that here you have a black man and a woman talking about gun ownership. And here in the state of Texas, the Texas State Director for the Gun Owners of America is you. What does that mean for you? What responsibility did you see that as? And how do you think you can impact that conversation here in the state of Texas?
It's a heavy, heavy responsibility. I do not take it lightly. Before I was offered the position, I said, make sure, don't just, So it is with a lot of dedication and focus that I have a story that because as a mama bear, we
Mhm.
see those. You have a different story. Um, Having gone through the legislative session last year, we all in that Capitol have a different story when we go in there to testify on 2A legislation. And my hope is that we bring the grassroots together, all of us, and fight for our Second Amendment rights. That it doesn't matter where we come from in our story. The right to self-defense and then the right to protect ourselves, this is a limitation on the government.
Yeah.
And the things that we see now more than ever, it doesn't matter, all walks of life, and it's my passion my goal is that every Texan knows Gun Owners of America exists,
Yeah.
and that then you decide to become a member, and then you become active with us at the Capitol to make sure that we get good legislation.
You know, it's interesting because I think a lot of folks don't realize that it was just in 2021 that constitutional
Mhm.
carry passed in Texas. I mean, the state of Vermont, home of Bernie Sanders, had constitutional carry before Texas. What are some of the legislative issues that you see as we get ready to go into another session in 2025?
Wes and I saw last session that it was hard to get people to come to the Capitol because they would say, "We have constitutional carry. Why do we need to go?" But unfortunately, Texas is not the beacon of strong 2A legislation and laws.
Mhm.
So, gun-free zones, we could talk about the Texas State Fair.
Yes.
Um,
Let's talk about that, because just recently a decision was made here, and because we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that the Texas State Fair, quote unquote, the most Texas place in Texas, is saying to legal law-abiding citizens with, carry permits, you can't bring your gun on the state fairgrounds. And 3 judges who were appointed by Governor Greg Abbott on a Circuit Court of Appeals upheld that. And now we just found out that the Texas Supreme Court says, yeah, you as a citizen, legal law-abiding gun owner cannot take a gun into the Texas State Fair. Gotta tell you, I'm not going.
No, I'll get my funnel cake somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But it is shocking, and it's shocking that I can't even fathom how, if you talk about what happened last year, that guy didn't follow the law.
Yeah, the shooting last year. Yeah.
Wasn't a permit holder.
No.
So we don't cause these situations. Where is the common sense?
Well, there is no common sense. I think you'd agree it. But the thing is that instead of looking at the people that are violating the law, they then punish the people that are abiding by the law, and they make us into victims. And so that is something I'm sure a lot of people cannot believe, that the Texas State Fair has banned legal law-abiding citizens to carry weapons. What are some of the other things that you have going on with Gun Owners of America here?
Well, the other shocking one to me is we do have 3 or 4 Texas residents that have been served red flag orders from the state of California.
Mm.
Now, that's legislation that our advisors are looking at, and how and why.
California has served Texans with red flag laws.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen?
There's even our attorneys, our legislative advisors, how does that happen? But the scary thing is Texas constables have served those. Why would you even acknowledge them?
Yeah, why would a Texas constable take anything for? I guarantee you that if someone in Texas were to serve a warrant in California for dismembering babies in the womb at 8 months, California would say, forget about it. That's our law. Or if Texas were to say, you cannot have these gender surgeries on children, I'm sure California would say, pfft. So why would you think that we allow that would happen here?
I can't fathom it. And I hope that we get some legislation and some answers. It's shocking. Californians, remember, you couldn't even come to the state of Texas to do business, government
That's right.
business. They banned from coming to state of Texas. So, some of these things, there are no good answers. And I really passionately, as the state director, you get calls all day long. 2 this morning. This happened to me. It was a January 6th somebody. This happened to me. Can you have someone look at it? This is a Second Amendment violation. And my role is, the way I see it, to connect the dots, connect the people. I can get you to our legislative advisors. I can get you to the attorneys. You need an event. I can get you a bus. But some of these things are just beyond having a reasonable answer.
Well, hold on to that thought, because we're going to come back and continue our discussion with Leigh Gibson, who is the Texas State Director for Gun Owners of America. We'll be right back. Hey folks, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West here at Watchtower Firearms. This is the custom design AR-15 that was just made for me. It's got my Steadfast and Laurel logo there. On this side, you can see my signature, my master parachutist wings, of course, American flag. And I just want to tell you that you can't be a great American unless you have a great American weapon. And that's exactly what Watchtower Firearms is building. Great American weapons, all American parts, manufactured right here in the great state of Texas. And oh, by the way, let me see, where is the serial number on this one? TX 1836. If you're from Texas, I think you know what that means. God bless you. God bless Watchtower.
Hit, dead center. Yes.
Hey folks, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West here. Welcome back to the continuing conversation with the Texas State Director for Gun Owners of America. That's Leigh Gibson. Leigh, you've got some great things coming up in this election cycle. But one of the things kind of troubling is that you've got some groups out there that aren't really good voters.
Mm.
One group is the Christian community, self-identified Christians. The other group, gun owners and hunters.
Mhm.
What is the gun owners of America doing to try to awaken, gun owners to get out there and participate in the electoral process?
Well, right now we are on just about an 8-week long bus tour with
Mhm.
the No Compromise Texas tour. So we are trying to hit as many locations as possible, gun shows, rallies, candidate stops, big events to get out the vote for the Second Amendment and our pro two-way candidates that are endorsed by GOA.
And GOA, when you talk about this organization, and I'm a life member of Gun Owners of America, so I will get that out there. How do you differentiate yourself from, let's say, a very established organization called the National Rifle Association? And full disclosure, I was a board member of the NRA. I stepped off because they are not about no compromise. Go ahead.
Well, again, it's our grassroots. We've been known as a grassroots, no compromise organization. And again, coming from California, I didn't know Gun Owners of America was founded in California in
That's right.
1975.
State Senator H.L. Richardson.
And so we've been around a long time, predominantly grassroots and federal. Texas was one of the first states to get a state and local program.
Mhm.
So it's really my mission to get people out to help us. We need help. So again, an annual membership is $25. You're gracious enough to be a lifetime member 2.5 times over. We know that.
All right.
Yeah. So it's the strong support of individual members and those that will come to the Capitol and testify, that will respond when we ask, when we put out a call for help. And so this bus tour really, unfortunately, we see 10 million gun owners not voting.
10 million gun owners across the country not voting. What do you think that number is in the state of Texas?
Oh, I can't, I honestly don't know, but I do know that I find gun shows or where you go where there are firearms enthusiasts. Oh, I don't need that. I don't need to go to the Capitol. I have plenty of guns if they come. So my argument is, but do you love the Constitution?
Yeah.
Do you love the Second Amendment that protects all the others? And we don't want it to get to that. I think we have this notion that we love this idea of a well-regulated militia when that is not what we are advocating for. This is a right to self-defense and preservation.
Mhm. Let's talk about something I think should be near and dear, especially for women who, if I'm correct, the fastest growing demographic is gun owners. And then before we finish, I'm going to ask you what you shoot. You hear this talk about defunding police. You see this open borders policy. You see now, even here in the Dallas area, we have this Aragua, this violent Venezuelan gang. What message do you think will resonate with gun owners to say that, first and foremost, go out and arm yourselves and be protected, but also you have to defend the law and your ability to have these the ability to defend yourself? What do you think will resonate, especially with women?
It is very scary out there right now when you see these stories. And we say we have a Empowered 2A program for women to come out, join us at a range day. Once you experience it and the empowerment, we see people come out, cry, just holding it, but then you're addicted because, again, coming from a sports background, try it as just a competitive sport, leisure, come out, let us help you. So, just the things that are going on that we see every day, we know, when you need the police, how far away are they?
Well, I can tell you the average response time, they say, in the city of Dallas is anywhere from 12 to 20 minutes, based upon what type of, crime event you're reporting on 9/11. And a lot of bad things can happen in 2 to 3 minutes, not to mention 12 minutes. And we just saw a woman that was, followed home and was assaulted and accosted, and her home was robbed. there by 4, Hispanic men. And now, of course, they say if you say that, then you're being a racist. Well, call me a racist. I mean, that's who they are. Where do you go from here as far as gun owners of America? Let's say everything goes well in this election cycle. President Trump gets reelected. What do you think is that long-term, mid to long-term strategy for GOA here in Texas?
So again, it's getting everyone involved, joining in the grassroots, and then my mission is some outreach programs. Again, in the youth, because that's my background in shotgun, and that we grow that next generation of Second Amendment lovers and educate them. And for me, my son travels the world, and he gets asked all the time, "Tell us about the Second Amendment. You really get to do that." So that's a mission, and we need funding for that, and to get into some areas that we wouldn't get into, to bring firearms trigger sports to people that haven't experienced them. And so that's really my mission, and get everyone at the Capitol to help us.
You personally, okay? So what is your favorite weapon? What's your favorite carry weapon? What do you enjoy shooting?
Well, if I'm being 100% honest, I like to go to Costco with my husband as my armed bodyguard.
Ah! Now, come on, Leigh. You're the Texas State Director for Gun Owners of America. You obviously have to go to the range
I
every
do.
now and then.
I
Okay.
have a SIG, a
Okay.
365.
Oh, P365, good
Yes.
weapon. Yeah.
So, but to be honest, do I train, practice as much as I should? Am I the best? No, I'm not, and I'm honest about it, because it's really important that it's a serious commitment. And right now, with the bus tour and all the responsibility, I would be foolish to think that I am proficient enough. So I like a good armed citizen next to me.
There you go. Now, on this bus tour, what are some of the places you're going to be hitting here in the state of Texas? And is there a potential for you to take this bus tour outside the state of Texas?
I think we've had so much success so far, and just kicked it off with your gracious being at our first kickoff dinner just last Saturday night. We have some, one, we're going to tour the state fair and make sure that they feel our presence there. But some large events, we have October 26th, an active shooter response training in Seguin, Texas, with the Young Conservative Texas group there.
Good.
And so that'll be active shooter, some medical response, an all-day event, and tickets are on sale on gunowners.org. We have a shotgun event with Vincent Hancock, the Olympian, because we see with the Olympics in LA, there's already some pushback on, are they going to build a venue, and talk about Australia doesn't even want shooting sports. So is the LA Olympics going to be a setup to sort of see shooting sports in the Olympics disappear? So we're going to do it on October 27th at North Lake Shooting Sports with Vincent Hancock, the Olympian. Candidate rallies, and there is some talk about leaving the state of Texas for some big events.
You know, it's amazing to me, something you just brought up that I was not aware of, that there's a possibility that we could see shooting sports not be held in the Olympics, but yet you can have two biological males beating on each other to win a gold medal as a female boxer. And the Olympic Committee says, they really can't determine what a male and female is. This is how absurd it's getting, here in the world. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Olympics coming to LA with the shooting sports issue. As we close, what is the big message? And I'll just have you talk directly to the audience. What is the big message you want to get out about gun owners for America here in Texas, but also nationwide, as we're within 34 days or so of this election?
Yeah, please. This election is important. We say that almost every year, it seems like lately, every election. But go out and find the most pro-2A candidate you can on that ballot, and be sure to vote down ballot all the way, flip it over. We need those firearms enthusiasts. I know you might have a closet full. You don't think that it's important, but we need you to get to the polls. We know that they're excited to vote top of the ticket. And if you can join Gun Owners of America, it helps us when we're out and when we go to testify on your behalf and speak for our millions and millions of members.
You got to vote all the way through the ballot, people. And there are a lot of times things are hitting in that ballot, little initiatives or what have you. But you got to make sure that there are people looking out for your constitutional rights and the protection thereof, and aren't pushing legislation that will undermine that. Leigh Gibson, how can people follow you as the Texas State Director of Gun Owners for America?
So the Texas Gun Owners is the website, and we are on Instagram and Facebook.
And remember, all of you watching this that live here in Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Texas State Fair just banned legal, law-abiding gun owners from being able to carry there at the Texas State Fair. So Leigh is right. It doesn't matter how many guns you have, they're stocked up in your house. When you have people continuing to tell you that you cannot take those guns outside the house, that's why we need you to join Gun Owners of America, and that's why we need you to show up at the state capitol to make sure these things don't happen. Thanks so much, Leigh, for being with us. Good luck on the bus tour, and good luck as being the Texas State Director for Gun Owners for America.
Before they burn it down.